How did I go from laughing in my kitchen to standing in my clinic lobby while a process server waited with my name on an envelope? Why did my husband look so calm when he watched me open it, like he had already moved on weeks ago? What happens when the clips you thought were secret become the reason a divorce starts today? My name is Alvina Houghton, and I used to think my life was simple. I worked at the front desk in a dental clinic. I booked patients, answered phones, and smiled until my cheeks hurt. People called me organized. They said I was the calm one. I liked that. I liked being the one who held things together. At home, Graham did not say that. He acted like my calm was just normal. He acted like I should do it for free, forever. He never said thank you in a way that felt real. He did not clap for me. He did not look at me like a prize. After years, that starts to feel like a kind of disrespect. That morning, I came in early because I wanted the quiet. The clinic smelled like mint cleaner and fresh paper. The waiting room lights were still dim. I set my bag under the desk and checked the schedule. I told myself it was going to be a good day. Cassidy Holt walked in with her coffee and her loud laugh. She asked why I looked tired. I said I had been busy at home. She asked if Graham was still acting weird. I told her he was being controlling again. I said he watched my time like a manager, not a husband. I said it in a confident way, like I was reporting a fact. Cassidy said she hated men like that. She said I deserved better. I let that sentence sit in my chest. I liked it. I did not correct her. Around 10, Graham texted me. He asked if I could pick up the kids after work because he had a meeting. He asked if I could be home by 6. He added a little smiley face, like it made it softer. I stared at the screen and felt annoyed. I told myself a husband should not ask like that. He should trust me. I wrote back that I would try. Then I added that I had errands. It was true. The gym counted as an errand now. In my head, it was almost medical. I told myself it was for my health. I told myself it was for the kids, too. A healthy mom. A strong mom. At lunch, I took my break in the back room. I ate a salad and scrolled my phone. There was a message from Jace Morrow, my trainer. He wrote that he had a slot at 6:30 and asked if I wanted it. He used a flame emoji. It was silly. It was also a small spark in my day. I told myself that spark was normal. I told myself it was what I needed. Graham used to give me sparks. He used to look up when I entered a room. Now he looked at his laptop. He looked at bills. He looked at the kids' school emails. He acted like life was a list. I replied to Jace that I could come. I added that I would be a little late. He sent back a thumbs up and wrote that he would save my spot. I read that line twice. When my shift ended, I left the clinic with my coat half on. The sky was already dark. The cold air made my face feel sharp. I drove to the gym with music loud. I told myself I was doing something brave. I told myself I was choosing myself. Inside, the gym smelled like rubber mats and citrus spray. The lights were bright and clean. People moved with purpose. Nobody asked about dinner. Nobody asked about laundry. Nobody asked why I needed time. Jace met me near the training area. He asked how my week was. I said it was stressful. He asked what was stressing me. I said my husband was on my case again. I said he did not like me having a life. I said he made everything into a problem. Jace frowned like he cared. He said I should not feel small in my own marriage. He said I should feel wanted. He said he could help me feel strong again. He did not say it like a promise. He said it like a fact. We trained. He counted my reps. He corrected my posture. He said I was improving fast. He said I had discipline. He said I had fire. Every time he said something like that, I felt taller. Near the end, my phone buzzed. Graham called. I watched the screen ring. I did not answer right away. I told myself I should finish my set first. I told myself he could wait. After the workout, I stepped into the lobby and called him back. He asked where I was. I said I had stayed late at work. He asked why I sounded out of breath. I said I had rushed. He asked why the gym charge showed again. I said it was a package and the billing was weird. He went quiet for a second. Then he asked if I could just tell him the truth. I laughed once, short and sharp, like he was being dramatic. I said I was telling the truth. I said he always did this. I said he turned everything into an accusation. I said I was tired of it. He said he was not accusing me. He said he wanted to understand. I told him he did not want to understand. I told him he wanted control. I told him he should be happy I was trying to get healthy. He said he was happy, but he also missed me. He said the kids missed me at dinner. He said Mila asked why I was always at the gym or on the phone. I felt a flash of guilt, but I pushed it away. I said Mila was copying him. I said he was putting ideas in her head. When I got home, the house was quiet except for the TV in the living room. The kids were in pajamas. Graham had set out their plates already, covered with foil. He asked if I wanted to eat. I said I was not hungry. He asked if I could at least sit with them for a minute. I said I had a headache. Mila looked up from the couch. She asked if I could read her a story. I said maybe later. Noah climbed onto my leg and hugged me. I patted his head and told him I loved him. I tried to sound warm. My body felt tense, like I was wearing a coat inside my skin. Graham followed me into the kitchen. He asked why I was so distant lately. I said I was tired. He asked if he had done something wrong. I said he always made it about him. I said I carried too much and he did not see it. I said I felt like a single parent sometimes. His face changed. He looked hurt. Then he looked tired, like he had no energy left for a fight. He said he did not want to fight. He asked what I needed. I said I needed space. I said I needed him to stop questioning me. He nodded once. He did not argue. That annoyed me more than an argument would have. His calm felt like a trick. His quiet felt like judgment. Later, while he cleaned the kitchen, I went upstairs and checked my phone. Jace had sent another message. He wrote that I did great and that he liked my attitude. He added a wink emoji. I smiled again, even though I told myself it meant nothing. I heard Graham in the hallway. I put my phone down fast. He stepped into the bedroom and asked if we could talk before sleep. I said I was exhausted. He asked if tomorrow could be better. I said it depended on him. He stood there for a moment like he wanted to say more. Then his phone lit up on the nightstand. I saw a calendar alert flash on his screen. It showed a place name I did not recognize and a time, very exact. He turned the phone face down right away. I told myself it was probably work. I told myself it did not matter. Still, I watched him too closely after that. I watched his hands. I watched his eyes. He opened the closet and reached for a folder on the top shelf, one with a plain label. I could only see the word bank before he slid it back. He asked if I was coming to bed. I said yes, soon. He left the room without another word, and his steps sounded careful, like he was walking around something fragile. The next day, I woke up with a strange energy. It was not happiness. It was more like a need to win. Graham made me feel like I was always on trial, even when he spoke softly. I told myself I had to take control of the story before he did. At the clinic, Cassidy leaned on my desk and asked if I was okay. I said I was fine, but I added that Graham had called me again like I was a teenager. She asked what he said. I told her he questioned my gym time and my spending. I left out the part where he sounded tired, not angry. I said he sounded suspicious. I said he acted like he owned my schedule. Cassidy rolled her eyes and said men like that needed to be taught a lesson. She said I should come out with us that night. She said a rooftop bar had a new drink menu and good photos. I knew what she meant. She meant pictures that made a point. I texted my sister, Talia, during my break. I told her I was going out. She asked why. I said I needed air. I said Graham was suffocating me. She wrote back that I had given him enough years. She wrote that I should be seen. I liked that. I liked the idea that being seen could be a kind of power. After work, I went home first. The kids ran to me. Mila asked if I was staying for dinner. I said yes, but I said it in a way that sounded like I was doing everyone a favor. Noah showed me a drawing and asked if I liked it. I said it was beautiful. My mouth smiled, but my mind was already elsewhere. Graham was at the counter with his laptop open. He asked how my day went. I said it was busy. He asked if I could look at Mila's school note because she needed a costume for a class thing. I said I would later. He asked if I was going somewhere tonight. I said I might meet Cassidy. He asked why I needed to go out on a weeknight. I said because I could. He asked if Jace would be there. The fact that he used Jace's name annoyed me. It felt like a claim. I told him it was none of his business. He said it was his business if a man was entering our home. That word, home, hit me like a fence. I asked what he meant. He said he wanted one boundary. He said he did not want Jace in our house. He said he did not want strangers around the kids. He said it calmly, like he was reading a simple rule. I laughed and asked if he was serious. I said he was acting paranoid. I said Jace was a professional and I was a client. I said Graham watched too many videos online. He said he was not accusing me, but he did not like how secretive things felt. He asked why I kept turning my phone away. I said I turned it away because he stared at it. Mila came into the kitchen and asked if we were fighting. Graham told her we were not. I said we were just talking. I made my voice sweet. Then I looked at Graham and asked why he always did this in front of the kids, like he wanted to make me look bad. His eyes flicked to Mila, like he was measuring his words. He told Mila to wash her hands for dinner. That night, I went out anyway. I wore a dress I had not worn in years. I told myself I deserved it. I told myself I was not doing anything wrong by going to a bar. I said I was allowed to breathe. The rooftop bar was full of music and clinking glasses. The city lights looked like a wall of glitter. Cassidy took pictures the moment I sat down. She asked me to tilt my chin up. She asked me to smile like I had no worries. I did it. Talia came too, and she hugged me and said I looked alive. She asked where Graham was. I said he stayed home because he liked to sulk. I said he wanted me barefoot in the kitchen. Cassidy laughed and said she could not imagine being trapped like that. I let them talk. I let them build the story around me. A man at the next table asked if we were celebrating something. Cassidy said we were celebrating freedom. I smiled again. I told myself I was not humiliating Graham. I told myself he humiliated himself by being so insecure. Later, Cassidy posted a photo of me holding a drink with the skyline behind me. She tagged me. She added a caption about choosing joy. People commented hearts and fire emojis. I watched the likes rise like a scoreboard. When I got home, the living room light was on. Graham was sitting on the couch with the TV muted. He asked if I had fun. I said yes. He asked why Cassidy tagged me with words like freedom. I said it was a joke. He asked if I was trying to tell people he was abusive. I said he was being dramatic again. He asked if we could talk without insults. I said he was the one insulting me by treating me like a suspect. He asked if I could stop bringing our issues to other people. I said I would stop when he stopped acting like a problem. He did not raise his voice. He did not slam anything. He just nodded once, slow, like he was taking notes inside his head. He said he was going to put the kids to bed. He asked if I could read to Mila. I said I had a headache again. In the hallway, I saw a small sticky note on the console table. It said, "Bring forms." The handwriting was neat. It was not mine. I stared at it too long. Graham walked past it and did not look at it. I went into the kitchen to get water, and I noticed a new pack of folder labels on the counter, the kind you use for files. I asked Graham what they were for. He said he needed to organize some things. I asked what things. He said household stuff. His voice stayed flat and polite. I went upstairs and scrolled my phone. Jace had reacted to Cassidy's photo with a flame emoji. Then he sent me a private message. He wrote that I looked confident. He wrote that confidence was attractive. I told myself it was harmless. I told myself it was just words. A few minutes later, I heard a low sound from downstairs, like a machine chewing paper. It stopped and started again. I walked to the top of the stairs and listened. It sounded like a shredder. I called down and asked what he was doing. He said he was cleaning up old papers. I asked why he needed to do that at night. He said it was the only quiet time he had. I wanted to accuse him of being weird, but I also did not want to admit the sound made me nervous. I went back to the bedroom and found my charger. My mind kept circling the same thought. Why was he organizing now? Why was he shredding anything? It felt like he was preparing, and I hated that feeling. When Graham came to bed, he left his phone on the dresser. The screen lit up with a notification, then went dark. I did not see the message, but I saw the contact icon. It was not a name. It was just a small emoji. I told myself it meant nothing. Still, I lay there awake and watched him turn his back to me, like he had already decided where this was going. The week after the rooftop bar, I started to feel bold in a way that scared me and excited me at the same time. Graham stopped asking the same questions. He still spoke to me, but his voice had changed. It sounded careful, like he was stepping around broken glass. I told myself he was trying to punish me with silence. I told myself he wanted me to feel guilty. I refused to feel guilty. I decided if he wanted distance, I could give him distance and still win. I told myself respect follows results, and I had results. I was getting attention again. I was getting that spark. At the gym, Jace acted like he had known me for years. He asked how things were at home. I said my husband was still moody. Jace asked if Graham ever supported my goals. I said Graham only supported things that made him look good. I said he liked me small and tired because it was easier for him. Jace shook his head like he felt sorry for me. He said I deserved to be admired. He said a woman should not beg her husband to notice her. He said I should feel proud of myself. He said he could tell I was waking up. We trained harder. He pushed me, and I liked the push. I liked that he watched me, like my effort mattered. He asked if I wanted to do a few stretches after the session. I said yes. I told myself it was normal. I told myself it was part of the program. My phone buzzed twice during training. I saw Graham's name once. I ignored it until after. When I checked later, he had sent a short text. He asked what time I would be home. He added that Mila had a question about her school project. It was polite. It almost made me angry because it did not sound jealous. I wrote back that I would be home soon. Then I waited longer on purpose. I told myself I was teaching him not to control me. I also told myself he should feel what it was like to wait. When I finally drove home, I noticed his car was backed into the driveway, pointed toward the street. Graham usually parks straight in. He said it was easier to unload groceries that way. Seeing the car like that made me pause. It looked like a person ready to leave fast. Inside, the house was too quiet. The kids were in the living room. The TV was on, but the sound was low. Graham was at the dining table with his laptop and a spreadsheet open. I could not see the title. I only saw columns and numbers. He looked up and asked if I could talk for a minute. I said I was tired. He asked if I could answer one question without getting angry. I said I was not angry, and I said it like a warning. He asked if Jace had been in our house. I stared at him and laughed, like the question was stupid. I said no. I asked why he would even think that. He said he had noticed things, and he wanted the truth. He said he did not want to guess anymore. I said he was paranoid. I said he was obsessed with my gym life. I said he should focus on being a better husband instead of acting like a detective. He asked what would make him better. I said he could start by trusting me and not checking charges and times. He said he was not checking to control me. He said he was checking because our account was shared. He said he saw repeated charges that did not match what I told him. I told him the gym billing was weird again. I said he did not understand how packages worked. Mila walked in and asked if we were fighting again. Graham told her we were not fighting. He asked her what she needed, She said she needed a poster board for school. He said they would get it tomorrow. His voice stayed steady. That steadiness made me feel like I was the unstable one, and I hated it. That night, Cassidy invited us to a game night at her neighbor's place. She said it would be fun and light. She said I needed to get out. I told Graham we should go. I wanted witnesses. I wanted people to see him as stiff and weird while I looked bright and social. At the neighbor's house, there were snacks on the counter and loud music playing softly. People sat in a circle with cards and drinks. Everyone acted like life was simple. I played that part well. I laughed too loud. I touched Graham's arm in public like we were fine. Cassidy asked Graham how work was. He said it was busy. She asked if he was still tracking Alvina's schedule, and she said it with a teasing smile. I acted surprised and said she was joking, but I did not stop her. I let it hang there. Graham's jaw tightened for a second. He said he did not track me. He said he only asked questions when things did not add up. Cassidy laughed and said men always said that. She told a story about her ex. People laughed. I added a comment about how Graham liked routines too much. I said he acted like a spreadsheet with legs. Someone chuckled. I felt a rush. I felt in control again. I watched Graham's face, waiting for anger. He did not explode. He did not argue. He just looked down at his drink and took a slow sip. Then he looked up and asked if anyone wanted to start the next round. He sounded normal. That should have calmed me, but it did not. It made me feel unseen. Later, in the hallway near the coat rack, I heard a soft beep from Graham's phone. He was holding it low, screen tilted away. I could not see what app it was. He noticed me looking and slid it into his pocket. He asked if I wanted to leave soon. I said no. I said we could stay. I wanted to keep testing him. On the drive home, he said very little. He asked if I had fun. I said yes. I asked if he was mad. He said he was tired. I told him he always used tired as an excuse to avoid real talks. He said he did not want to talk while I was heated. I said I was not heated. I said he was the one making everything tense. At home, the kids were asleep. The hallway light was off. I went into the kitchen for water. The counter looked too clean, like someone had wiped it twice. I opened a drawer and saw it was organized in a new way. Pens lined up, rubber bands in a small cup. It felt like Graham was erasing chaos. When I went upstairs, my phone buzzed with a message from Jace. He wrote that he enjoyed seeing my confidence grow. He wrote that some women forget they are desirable. He wrote that he liked that I did not act afraid. I felt my cheeks warm. Then he sent a short video clip. It was not graphic, but it was unmistakable. It was from inside my house. I knew the angle. I knew the room. My stomach flipped, not from shame, but from the strange thrill of proof that I was living a secret life. I saved it. I told myself it was stupid to delete it because it was mine. I told myself it was private. I told myself Graham would never see it because he did not even look at me anymore. A few minutes later, Graham came into the bedroom. He asked what I was doing. I said I was checking work messages. He nodded like he accepted it. Then I noticed his keys on the dresser. There was a new key on the ring, shiny and unfamiliar. I asked what the new key was for. He said it was just a spare. I asked a spare for what? He said, calm and flat, that it was for storage, and he did not explain more. He turned off the light and lay down facing away from me. I lay awake and listened to his breathing. In my head, I told myself he was trying to scare me. I told myself he could not do anything real. Still, the saved clip sat on my phone like a small weight, and I could not ignore it. By the middle of that month, I started to notice eyes on me. It was not just in my head. I could feel it in small pauses, in the way people looked away too fast. I told myself it was because I looked better now. I told myself women always get watched when they stop being small. In the school pickup line, I kept my smile fixed. The cars crawled forward like a slow parade. Parents held coffee cups and talked in little circles. I waved at a few moms. Some waved back like normal. Some gave me the kind of smile that ended too soon. Mila came out with her backpack bouncing. She climbed into the back seat and asked if we could stop for a snack. I said we could. She asked why Dad did the pickups more now. I told her he had more time lately. She asked if Dad was mad at me. I said he was just stressed. I said adults got stressed and then acted quiet. I tried to sound calm, like it was nothing. When we got home, Graham was at the counter with a notebook and his phone. Noah was on the floor with toy cars. Graham looked up and asked how pickup went. I said it was fine. He asked if I could send him the school calendar and the aftercare rules. I asked why he needed it. He said he wanted everything clear and in one place. I told him he was acting like a manager again. He said he did not want to argue. He said he wanted a routine for the kids that did not depend on mood. That word, mood, felt like a jab. I said his mood was the problem. I said he had been cold. He said he was not cold. He said he was being careful. The next day at the clinic, Cassidy pulled me into the break room. She asked if something was going around about me. I asked what she meant. She said someone had mentioned my name in a weird way at the front desk. She said it sounded like gossip, not normal talk. My stomach tightened, but I kept my face smooth. I asked who said it. Cassidy said she did not know. She said it could be nothing. She said it could be people being jealous. I told her it was jealousy. I said when women change, people get threatened. Then Dr. Patel called me into his office. He asked if I had a minute. I said I did. He shut the door halfway and kept his voice low. He said the clinic had received an anonymous message. He said it did not include details, but it mentioned conduct and professional boundaries. He said he did not care about rumors, but he cared about the clinic's reputation. I asked what he wanted from me. He said he wanted me to keep my private life private. He said he wanted no drama connected to the clinic. He asked if there was anything I needed to tell him before it became a problem. I told him there was nothing to tell. I said people invented stories when they were bored. He looked at me for a long second. He said he hoped that was true. He said he liked my work, but he could not protect me from consequences if the clinic got pulled into personal issues. I nodded and said I understood. I walked out with my head high, but my hands felt shaky. At lunch, I called Talia. I told her my boss was acting weird. I said someone was trying to ruin me. She asked if Graham was behind it. I told her I did not know, but it sounded like something he would do. I said he liked to play innocent while he pushed buttons. Talia said I should stay loud. She said I should not let him rewrite my life. She said if he wanted to act like a victim, I should remind everyone of how he treated me. I liked the way she said that, like I had a mission. That weekend, Renee planned a big family dinner at a restaurant with a long table. She said we needed to be together, like adults. I knew she wanted a stage. I went because I wanted a stage too. The restaurant was warm and crowded. Plates clattered. Waiters moved fast. When we sat down, Renee pulled me close and asked if I was okay. I said I was trying. I said Graham had been distant. I said he acted like I was dangerous. Graham arrived with the kids and looked polite. He greeted people calmly. He kissed the top of Noah's head. He asked Mila what she wanted to drink. Everyone watched him like he was on display, and that made me angry. He looked too normal. Renee asked Graham how things were at home. He said things were being handled. Renee asked what that meant. He said he wanted peace for the kids. Renee said peace came from honesty. Graham said he agreed. Then he looked at me for half a second, and I felt like he was saying more without words. I spoke up and said Graham had been controlling lately. I said he questioned my schedule and my spending. I said he treated me like I could not be trusted. I said it in a clean, practiced way, like I had said it before. Deborah, Graham's mother, looked straight at me and asked what I had done to earn distrust. I smiled and said nothing. I said people with anxiety looked for problems. I said Graham had always been anxious. Graham did not defend himself the way I expected. He did not say I was lying. He did not bring up Jace. He only said he did not want to discuss adult issues at the table. He said he wanted to focus on the kids. That calm made me feel smaller, so I pushed harder. I said he loved to look like the good guy. I said he used calm as a weapon. I said he acted polite in public and cold in private. Evan, Graham's brother, told Renee that this was not helping. Renee told him not to speak to her like that. Talia jumped in and said Graham's family was always judgmental. Deborah said she was not judging, she was protecting the kids. The air got thick. People's forks slowed. Mila asked why everyone was tense. I told her they were just talking. Graham told her to eat her chicken and focus on her drawing plans. He sounded steady and kind. I hated that my child seemed calmer with him than with me. When we left the restaurant, Graham walked ahead with the kids. I followed behind and tried to catch his arm. He pulled away gently, not rough, just clear. He asked if we could keep contact about the kids only. He said he wanted everything in writing so there were no misunderstandings. I asked why he was suddenly acting like this. He said he was tired of confusion. He said clarity protected everyone. He said it was better that way. On the drive home, his phone buzzed in the cup holder. I saw the screen light up. It was a reminder with a plain title, and the time was exact. A second later, another alert popped up that said, paper drop. He tapped it off without looking at me. I tried to laugh and asked what that was. He said it was just a reminder. I asked a reminder for what. He said it was personal and he would handle it. At home, I put the kids to bed and checked my phone. Cassidy had sent a message saying people were talking. She said someone had asked if I was seeing my trainer. My throat went dry. I typed back that it was nonsense. Then I erased it and wrote that Graham was spreading lies because he wanted control. I told myself that was the truth. Downstairs, I heard a soft beep from Graham's phone, like a recording app starting or stopping. I stood at the top of the stairs and listened. The house felt too quiet. I told myself I was still in charge of my own story. But for the first time, I wondered if the story was already being written without me. The next week felt different, like the air in the house had changed. Graham moved through rooms with purpose, not emotion. He did not chase me. He did not ask the same questions. He stopped trying to talk it out at night. At first, I told myself it was good. Then I realized I missed the arguing, because arguing meant he still wanted me. Now he acted like he was already somewhere else. On Tuesday, I went to the supermarket after work. I pushed the cart too fast, like speed could fix my thoughts. I grabbed snacks the kids liked, and a few things I wanted. I added expensive coffee pods without thinking. I told myself I deserved small comforts. I told myself I had been carrying everything for years. At the checkout, the cashier scanned items and read the total. I tapped my card like normal. The machine beeped and flashed a message. Declined. I felt heat rise in my face. I tried again, holding the card longer. Declined again. The cashier glanced at the line behind me. People shifted and sighed. I forced a laugh and said the machine was probably acting up. I pulled out a different card and paid fast. It worked. I shoved the receipt into my bag and walked out with my shoulders tight. In the car, I stared at the steering wheel and told myself it was a glitch. I told myself Graham must have moved money around without telling me. I told myself that was controlling. I told myself I was the victim here. When I got home, Graham was in the kitchen, packing small containers into the fridge, like he was setting up a routine. He asked how my day was. I said fine. He asked if the store was crowded. I said yes. He asked if Mila needed anything for school. I said I did not know. He did not react. He only nodded, like he had expected that answer. Mila ran in with a paper in her hand. She asked if I had signed her permission slip. I said I forgot. She looked disappointed and asked if Dad could sign it instead. That stung more than it should have. I told her I would sign it now. My hand shook a little when I held the pen. Later, I found Graham on the stairwell landing, holding a small notebook and his phone. He looked up when I approached. I asked what he was doing. He said he was writing down the kids' schedules, so nothing got missed. I asked why he needed to write it down. I said we had always managed fine. He said it had not been fine lately. I told him he was exaggerating to make me look bad. He said he was not trying to make anyone look bad. He said he was trying to keep the kids steady. I asked if he was planning something. He said he was planning peace. I followed him into the hallway and asked if he had talked to anyone about me. He asked what I meant. I said the clinic got an anonymous message. I said people at school were whispering. I said someone was trying to paint me as a bad mother. I asked if he was doing that. He looked at me for a long moment, calm and quiet. Then he asked if I wanted a real answer. I said yes. He said the only thing he talked about with other people was the kids. He said he did not need to gossip. He said facts handled themselves. That word, facts, landed hard. I told myself he was bluffing. I told myself he was trying to scare me. I said he had no facts. I said he only had feelings. I said he was sensitive and dramatic. I said he was turning into his mother. He did not snap. He did not insult me back. He just stepped away and went into the guest room. The door closed softly, not slammed. That soft close felt worse than a slam. It felt final. The next day, I sat on a playground bench while Noah ran to the slide and Mila climbed the steps. The air was cold. Parents stood in clusters watching. I held my phone and tried to look normal. I checked messages from Cassidy and Talia, looking for comfort. Cassidy wrote that I should be careful. She wrote that Graham was acting too calm. She wrote that calm men did things quietly. I hated that she said it, because it matched my fear. Talia wrote that I should stay strong and not admit anything. She wrote that men used courts to punish women. She wrote that I should talk first and control the narrative. I read that and felt a rush of relief. Yes, I thought, narrative. That was the real fight. When we got home, I went to the kitchen and saw a single sheet of paper in the printer tray. It was blank, like it had fed through and stopped. The smell of toner was stronger than usual. I stared at the machine and felt something tight in my chest. It was like the house was giving off signs I did not understand. That night, I stood near the office door and listened. I heard a drawer click shut, then another small sound, like tape peeling. I told myself Graham was being weird to make me nervous. I told myself I would not be controlled by weird little sounds. I walked into the office without knocking. Graham was there with his laptop open. Several tabs were open, but he clicked away fast. I saw words for half a second. Storage options, delivery tracking, and notary near me. My stomach dropped, and I hated myself for dropping. I asked what he was doing. He said he was handling personal tasks. I asked what personal tasks. He said he did not owe me a report. I told him that married people did not have secrets. He said we crossed that line already. I felt my face burn. I asked what that meant. He asked if I really wanted to pretend. He asked if I wanted to keep acting like he was crazy. I switched tactics. I told him I felt unsafe with how cold he was being. I told him his silence was a kind of emotional punishment. I told him he was harming the kids by turning the house into a quiet prison. I said it in a steady voice, like I was reading a statement. He listened without interrupting. Then he said he would not fight with me. He said he would not yell. He said he would not argue in circles. He said he would communicate about the kids, and everything else would be handled properly. I asked him what properly meant. He looked at me with the same calm face he had worn all week. He said it meant in the right way, with the right steps, and with the truth. He stood up, closed the laptop, and walked past me without touching me. As he passed, I saw a small USB taped under a folder labeled Taxes, like it belonged there. The sight made my throat tighten. I followed him into the hallway and asked if he was threatening me. He stopped and turned. He asked if I wanted to call it a threat. He said he was not threatening anything. He said he was choosing a clean process. I wanted to scream at him, but I did not. I wanted to slap him with words, but I also did not want the kids to hear. So I swallowed it and told myself he was bluffing. I told myself he could not take my life apart with calm sentences. He looked at the guest room door, then back at me, and said one more time, slow and clear, that he would handle it properly. I thought I could still turn it around with one good talk. I told myself Graham was doing this calm act to scare me, and that once he saw me cry, he would soften. I even practiced my lines in the mirror. I told myself I would say it was a misunderstanding. I told myself I would say I felt lonely. I told myself I would say he pushed me there. That morning at the clinic, I showed up early and wore my nicest coat. I acted normal at the front desk. I smiled at patients and called insurance companies. Cassidy kept looking at me like she wanted to ask something. I ignored her. I needed the day to stay under control. Around late morning, the glass doors opened and a man walked in with a folder. He did not look like a patient. He looked like someone who had a job to do and wanted to finish it. He asked for Alvina Houghton. I said that was me, and I asked what he needed. He asked if I could confirm my identity. He said he had legal documents for me. My throat went tight. I told myself it could be a mistake. I told him I was at work and asked if he could come back later. He said he could not. He said service had to be completed. Patients in the waiting room turned their heads. Dr. Patel stepped out of his office and asked what was happening. The man said he was serving papers and would be quick. Dr. Patel's face went flat. He said we could use the lobby corner and keep it quiet. It was not quiet. Nothing like that is quiet. The man asked me to sign a form acknowledging receipt. I said I did not want to sign anything. He said signing did not mean I agreed, only that I received it. He said I could refuse to sign, and he would note it, but the service would still count. Cassidy stood behind me, frozen. I took the envelope because every eye was on me. The man said I should read it and follow the instructions. Then he left like it was nothing. My hands shook as I opened the papers. The first page had our names. It said, marriage dissolution. I felt the floor move under me. I told myself it was dramatic and that he would not actually do it. Then I saw dates and terms. It was real. It was already filed. Graham walked in 5 minutes later, like he had timed it. He did not rush. He did not look angry. He looked clean and finished, like someone who had slept well. He asked Dr. Patel if he could speak to me for a minute in the lobby, in view of the cameras. Dr. Patel said he did not want a scene. Graham said he did not want one either. He said this was just a handoff and he would leave. I held the papers like they were hot. I asked Graham if this was his plan, to humiliate me at work. He said he did not choose my workplace for drama. He said it was the proper way to complete service. He said it protected everyone. I told him the clips were private. I told him this was an invasion. I told him he was obsessed. He asked if I wanted the honest answer. He said the clips were not found by spying. He said they were saved from my own device backups and cloud sync, and he could prove the timestamps. He said he did not share them publicly. He said he only gathered what was necessary for the filing. I said he was twisting things. I said it was a mistake, and it did not mean anything. Then I said it happened because he neglected me. I said he pushed me away. I tried to make my voice soft so people would hear pain, not guilt. He asked me to look at the temporary orders page. He said it was already in effect. He said there was a parenting schedule that started today. He said there were rules about money and the home, so there would be no fighting. He said pickups and drop-offs would be written and timed. I flipped to the page and saw it. I saw the days. I saw the times. I saw that I would not be able to freestyle my way through the week anymore. I saw that there were limits on spending from shared accounts. I felt my mouth go dry. I asked him if he was trying to take my kids. He said no. He said he was trying to keep them stable. He said the schedule was balanced, and it was clear. He said clarity was peace. Cassidy whispered my name, like she wanted to help me, but she did not move. Dr. Patel watched like he was measuring the damage. Patient stared openly now, like my life was a show. I looked at Graham and waited for anger, for a crack, for anything I could grab and use. He did not give me one. He only asked if I understood the first pickup time. I tried to speak, but my voice did not come out. Then I saw the court date line and the words about compliance, and I realized my story was not the story that mattered anymore.